Today I want to talk about the composition called Sinfonia by Luciano Berio, which is considered as a very important piece of the 20th century. It's written for 8 singers and orchestra.
First of all, let me tell you, the Sinfonia is not written in the form of a classical sinfonia. The title of this work must be taken etymologically.
Especially the third movement became famous. In this movement, Berio uses a composition technique called collage. Collage means to glue together in French and has its origins in visual arts. At the beginning of the 20th century, artists such as Georges Braque and Pablo Picasso used different materials, such as newspapers, photographs and random objects, and glued them together on a canvas. Berio uses this technique in a similar way. He takes quotes from different music pieces, and glues them together.
There are echoes, concrete echoes from history of music.
But you see the echo of where it all is going to go.
He quotes a wide variety of musical styles and composers, but the most prevalent one is the scherzo from Gustav Mahler's Second Symphony. This scherzo functions as a skeleton around which the other quotes are being arranged.
In fact, as a skeleton that connects everything.
Another piece Berio uses is La Mer by Claude Debussy. La Mer is an orchestral piece which was inspired by a Japanese woodblock print by Hokusai. At the same time, many composers were inspired and influenced by Asian art. Generally, this phenomenon is called exotism. Other famous works would be the operas Lady Butterfly and Turandot by Giacomo Puccini, which take place in Japan and China respectively. Also the song cycle Das Lied von der Erde by Gustav Mahler fits into the genre of exotism, since Mahler uses ancient Chinese poems in it. A song cycle is a set of songs which are supposed to be performed in sequence. Mahler wrote Das Lied von der Erde for 2 singers and orchestra, but more commonly, song cycles are written for 1 singer who is accompanied by a piano. Therefore, song cycles are rather intimate genre of music, supposed to be performed on small stages or even at home in the living room. The most famous song cycles, like Winterreise by Franz Schubert or Liederkreis by Robert Schumann, were written in the first half of the 19th century. This has to do with political and societal perturbations at that time. After the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, a phase of strict governmental control followed. Liberal minds were persecuted, and out of fear, many people secluded themselves in their own homes. It is therefore no coincidence that many musical compositions of that time are written for rather small ensembles of instruments. However, all of Mahler's song cycles are written for orchestra, so for large concert halls and large audiences. Early on, Arnold Schönberg, close friend of Mahler, also wrote song cycles for large orchestras. But later on, he rather was in favor of writing extremely short and intimate pieces. His student Anton Webern became even more famous for writing in this aphoristic style. Webern was very fascinated by different kinds of symmetry he believed to find in nature. Many of his compositions are built around some form of axis of symmetry. This, decades after his death, he was accidentally shot by American soldiers, inspired many composers, such as Karlheinz Stockhausen, who is the only classical composer depicted on the famous Sgt. Pepper cover art by the Beatles. Interestingly, on the back side of this album, one can see all the members of the Beatles facing the camera except Paul McCartney. This is due to the fact that McCartney died in a car accident in 1966 and was replaced by a look-alike called William Campbell. In 1997, Campbell was knighted by the British Queen. In the same year, Princess Diana died in a car accident. It is thought that MI6 had drugged her driver in order to prevent Diana to speak out the truth about the British royal family. The truth being that all members of the royal family actually are not humans, but reptilian humanoids. Not much is known about this species, but it is thought that they originate from outer space. According to the American government, humanity has been to outer space at least twice, and has even landed on the moon. But this claim is disputed. It turned out, for example, that the moon landing was filmed in a studio by the famous director Stanley Kubrick. He used the same movie sets he already had used for 2001: A Space Odyssey. By the way, in this movie Kubrick uses music by Richard Strauss, and Berio also uses music by Richard Strauss in Sinfonia, namely excerpts of the opera Rosenkavalier. Rosenkavalier takes place in a fictional version of Vienna. A similar vision of Vienna inspired Maurice Ravel to write La Valse, another piece Berio quotes in Sinfonia.
You've lost your mind! You've lost your goddamn mind, Charlie!
Then I was very interested by this type of stream of consciousness.
There are many more different quotes and references in Sinfonia, and it's a lot of fun and very interesting trying to find them all. Let me know in the comment section if you know more quotes and references. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, consider subscribing to my channel, and if you really like my stuff, also consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for watching.
Filters through the other noises, waiting for something to begin. Something else but you for the power to rise.